Hello, my name's Ben. I'm here with Jeff and Brad. And guys, I got the chance to play a little bit of the upcoming game from People Can Fly, Outriders.
I love to ride out. Let's do it.
That's right.
Well, right on out.
I'm riding.
Right on out into this 3-player squad-based looter shooter called Outriders. Class-based looter shooter powers.
I like video games.
Yeah, hey.
Okay, so it's a video game. I got you.
If you like video games made from 2018 to 2020, you might like Outriders. I'm being a little snarky, but this game is a game that I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it, seeing as how a lot of the trailers kind of set it up as like, hey, we're making another Destiny or another Division, or, you know, it kind of looked a little generic, kind of looked a little whatever, just reactionary maybe, but I was quite surprised by how fun it was. I played a little bit about a week and a half ago with 2 other Games Press people, and yeah, we did some missions. We're gonna get into them here. Right out the gate, it is definitely all those things I said. It is, you know, class-based. We're all playing as the class of Techromancer, which is the newest class they've shown off. There's 3 other classes. I don't know much about them because
Can you make love to a robot, or what do you? How do you romance the tech here?
You make love through your robots, and by robots I mean turrets. I really don't understand the Techromancer part of it. It seems just like this is the turret class.
It's like a necromancer, except robots instead of skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah, except you're not really like bringing them back to life or anything. But anyways, so this is starting out here.
Off for cutscenes. What was that? Wait, hang on.
Yeah, not final, I should say.
Okay,
and also
right.
there was like a setup to that. We're like tracking down that guy.
All right. Okay, sure.
But yes, that was the weirdest cutscene we had.
You're hunting the Bloody Baron?
Yeah. Well, the Witcher's a TV show now. It's not a video game, so they can use that.
Okay, great. Okay, yeah. Anything from TV is that's why you're all named after characters from MASH.
Right out the gate.
Klinger on the left, and yeah.
I'm playing as Hawkeye. This game, to me, if I can be reductive for a moment, felt very much like a Division 2. Or the Division 2, not just
It seems a little faster to me, though.
Yeah,
it's
yes,
got a kind of a twitch
like
element
it's-
to
With
it.
that being the key difference is there is a lot more action, but it really feels like the main thing I kind of grappled with in this game is the push and pull of the battlefield. Like we would get up and then we'd be like, oh shit, we're way too far up, we're getting overwhelmed, let's fall back to some cover, use our abilities and stuff. So we were level 30 when this started with access to all the skills and stuff, so we're seeing some kind of close to the end game builds, I'm assuming. Right there, I'm getting ammo from an ammo chest. There's no ammo drops. There's no drops of any kind, so there's no health drops either. How you get health back in this game is by killing enemies and doing damage. I couldn't quite figure out, so some of the guns have something called like health leech. If you see there when I'm shooting with that,
Right. Yeah.
you see the little like pluses popping up on my health bar. I really liked that. You know, it kept us in the action, kept us moving, shooting, which I'm all for. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of like cover-based shooters, just because I think sometimes it tends to slow things down too much. I like a more frenetic, fast.
You want to run and gun.
I do.
You do not want to stop and pop. I get it.
No, yeah. I at most will walk and talk.
Yeah.
Or at the least.
Well, this is. I mean, like People Can Fly. I feel like they've made some very frenetic shooters in the past. And
They made Painkiller.
I mean, they made Painkiller. So
And Bulletstorm, everyone's favorite.
well, hey, you know what? Bulletstorm is dumb, but
Yeah.
Bulletstorm was cool.
That whip was
from
cool.
a mechanical perspective. So like that. It makes sense that they made, like, looking at this, it makes sense that they also made both of those games in a weird
Yeah.
way.
Totally. It does feel like a kind of natural evolution of their style of games.
Or like their take on the Division / Gears /
Destiny. Like the loot system is very Destiny. I'll be showing that off later a little bit. So you see at the bottom there, I have 3 skills. You can kind of switch between which skill loadout you want at any time. That one I just did there was a kind of AoE ice grenade, and then I dropped a turret that just shoots kind of rockets out in a line. And then number one, I'm glad I used all three of those right there. The one I just used there, but then opted not to go with, was a rocket launcher that you just like kind of get for 30 seconds or whatever.
It's cool ice. It's
Yeah.
cool as ice.
The ice looked good. That AoE ice grenade is cool. You also have a melee attack that will freeze any enemies in front of you.
Is that something that's like build specific, or is that just like the Techromancer? Did you get any idea of just like? I can't imagine every character is going to be an ice character, right?
I believe that was a Techromancer specific thing because in the skill tree, there was a lot of stuff of like your ice will last long. Ice, it seemed like ice and toxic were kind of the Techromancer's elemental affinities. Maybe the other classes have like, I noticed there were weapons with fire damage and stuff like that, but it seems like maybe each class has like one or two elemental things that they kind of specialize in.
So all 3 players in your squad are Techromancers here?
Yes.
Did they talk about the other classes at all? I'm kind of surprised they didn't give you any.
I guess they've
let
shown
people play
those
the
off
game before, so they
Okay.
probably have shown other classes.
Oh, okay.
before.
So this was the Techromancer page in the marketing plan.
Exactly. Yeah. This was their like final class rollout, 2020 initiative. Enemies are really bullet spongy, which is why I first initially thought Division. You really do have to kind of focus your fire on the bigger ones. We were all in voice chat, so it was pretty easy to kind of coordinate that stuff. Here's a good example of what I was talking about before, where I'm like, okay, cool, we took the middle of the battlefield, I can just run up on some dudes, and then I got immediately smoked. There's a self
How did you revive there? Was that some kind of ability you had, or?
So there's self-revives. I think it's a limited number of self-revives per encounter, and then once you use those up, your allies can revive you.
Okay.
And there was a feed there on the right that says like X has self-revived and all that. A lot of weapon variety. I'm primarily using like a 3-hit assault rifle and a shotgun through this, but I'll be using some other ones. This rocket launcher is that special I was talking about before.
You talked about there not being really any drops, and I guess I don't know. Maybe we don't have the answer to that, but like you talked about the weapon having health leech, but like if you don't have a gun that has health leech on it, how are you recovering health? Is it just like out of combat recovery, and you have to be careful, or what? Or is it just abilities and work with your teammate type stuff?
I didn't get the full rundown exactly. I think there might be a thing of whenever you're killing somebody, even if you don't have weapon leech, you're getting some health back. But there are. It seems like every class has the option to skill towards some sort of support utility, whether it be healing your allies. Like one of the possible upgrades I could have chosen is whenever I do drop that little rocket turret, it does an AoE heal.
Okay.
And I think, if I remember on the Bombcast you mentioned, can't you break down your weapons and then recover some of the perks that are on them, like health steal and stuff, and like apply those to other weapons?
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So like we don't get too much into the crafting stuff here, but every weapon has a unique kind of modifier on it. It might be like crit damage, it might be that weapon leech I was talking about, and it's just marked with a little symbol. Whenever you break down one of those weapons, you get points for that. So like weapon leech points or crit points, and then when you build a new gun or want to upgrade an existing gun, you can kind of feed that stuff in.
Okay.
I don't know
Division
if it's
2 has something sort of like that, where you can feed a bunch of guns to a thing and eventually apply. Yeah.
I don't think you can just straight up like put all of your weapon leech points into any random gun, but like if a gun already has weapon leech, you can boost it with more weapon leech points.
Okay. And was that? I'm sorry. Was that a loot drop there? What was?
Yeah. So that's the only thing that drops are loot,
items,
guns, ammo, or guns and armor.
Okay.
It seems to do kind of a. This might be other than Destiny, but it's the only one I can think of. It does a Destiny thing where like the guns. So like the guns will have random effects like a chance to like split off and hit other enemies on a critical hit, or weird modifiers like that. And the armor and stuff like that will have will power up your abilities. So like plus 15 damage to your rocket launcher or what have you. So they not only have basic stats like armor and health regen and stuff like that, but they also have kind of like the rarer ones will have specialized stats
Seems like
on them.
they've always been good at coming up with interesting weapon abilities ever since they let you stake enemies to the wall.
Right.
They're pretty good with that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was kinda
Bulletstorm
overwhelmed.
certainly had its like share of just like interesting combos and stuff like that. Did you get a sense that, I mean, you talk about like a 3-shot burst and we see the shotgun and the rocket launcher here, but you did mention like, hey, the bullets can split off and hit other enemies. Was there anything? Were there any guns that you saw or any effects that just seemed like, hey, that's a weird thing? Because I feel like that's the people can fly thing. Is like, that's a weird gun. Like that's their thing in a way. Did you see anything like that?
Nothing like too out there. It was hard because like we wanted to keep moving. I didn't necessarily have time to read every weapon. I just kind of like defaulted to what has the most, the biggest number.
Yeah. So a video game released between 2018 and 2020. Okay, I understand.
Exactly. Yep. Did you get any sense of, or did you get to see what the kind of outside mission metagame stuff is in terms of like, do you have to set up a loadout before you go into this mission, or?
You definitely can, but then also that stuff seems like at any time you can kind of switch that stuff around.
Is there like a social hub, or is it one big connected world, or do you get?
There's a big hub world. So there's kind of like one main hub zone where you go back for main mission cutscenes and stuff like that, and then there are smaller hubs around that will have like one shopkeeper and like one upgrade guy, and then from there you go and do your local missions like. And side missions. So like in this kind of like rocky zone, there's like one guy we can go talk to for weapons and stuff, but you can move between those zones. So like after we're done here, we're gonna zip back to that main zone for a little bit, take on another mission, and then go visit a new zone.
Have you been in this exact same area the entire time this video's been running? Have you just kind of running back and forth? Okay, all right. Has it just been like one long fight in this like arena? Is that
encounters last a pretty decent amount of time? I think like I would say like 10 to like 15 minutes per encounter. It's definitely like the combat arena thing. It is not like you're progressing through a large world fighting a bunch of guys. It's you made it to this arena, this very handcrafted. Hold on, I'm gonna hold E to eliminate.
Well, you just picked up some orange boots of the Vanguard, so it's all worth it.
Yeah. Congratulations on eliminating. That's
you.
weird. That's weird. That had to be a cutscene.
It was a little weird.
Like, let's fade out. Like that seems like something that I would never do because you'd be like, oh, just pull the trigger on him here and not have to load up a cutscene just to see that.
Make him go.
Could you? Do you know if could you be equipping all this gear you're picking up right now, or do you have to like go decode it or identify it or anything like that first?
You can equip it pretty much right away, and it also does the Destiny thing of anything you miss gets transferred to a box back in your hub world. There's a lot of like collectibles and stuff hidden around the environment. You see here, I kind of just wandered into a corner. I found a journal entry, and I also find a chest here. There's also like minerals you can randomly find and harvest, and that'll be for upgrading things. Yeah, and then we're gonna make our way back and do one more mission here. Just going back to that kind of combat arena thing, I think it's smart because it lets them like really handcraft the stuff. So here's the inventory. You can see you got color coding on the guns. You got the number just there in the corner. You got your total, anomaly power, and firepower. Basically, you can break down stuff here. You see I'm going to mark some things and then recycle them, and that'll get me those resources down there at the bottom. Common guns are going to get you basic like money, and then more advanced guns will get you actual resource parts and stuff like that. So you see there's like crit damage, life leech, random stats on those guns.
Sharded. Did you get any sense of, did they talk about like bigger types of content, like maybe longer dungeons or raid type stuff, like what kind of more in-game stuff might look like?
They hadn't, but I would not be surprised if that is planned, especially considering they have like a whole world tier system like Division did. You can see there at the top.
Yeah,
we're on world tier 6. They didn't really get into that specifically too much. They just said we're going to start you at world tier 5, and you're going to work your way up. Trench Town, where we're going back to, is kind of that main hub zone I was talking about. Story, we didn't get like a ton of pre-brief on what was going on. It was basically like it's a future, and there are these chosen. I forget the name, what they're called, but like basically there are people who have these gifts, and you're one of those people, and you're after an old ally of yours who is a similar one who's gone rogue, and so you have to kind of make your way through. It seems like there are like moral choices within the cutscenes of like, do you want this person to come with you or not? Do you want, to do this stuff? I don't know necessarily how that works with a squad.
Right.
But we didn't get into that.
Parts of the look of this, now that you're back in this area, reminds me of Defiance.
Oh boy.
I don't even remember Defiance.
Maybe not a great, a great reference point, but,
Channel was that on? Sci-Fi?
Probably.
Oh, that was the game. That was a show.
The game. It's the MMO, the TV show, and then they just put
They
the MMO
rebooted
out
it.
again.
Yeah,
but it was
I
like
remember
the
that.
same game with slightly better graphics, but it's not no shared. It's bizarre. Both of those are still running, I think.
I think that there was, like I said, there was a good variety of weapon damage, like all sorts or weapon types. There was like multiple types of assault rifle. There's the 3-shot, the fully auto, the semi-auto, just kind of a lot of different stuff to go on. I tried out the sniper rifle for a while, which I liked. I liked the shotguns. It seems like it seems like all the weapon types are viable. It's just kind of, based around your build there. Like, what are you gonna, if you're building for close range, you can really pull off a shotgun build.
Did you see much variety in visual design in other environments? Like, this stuff is all like very dilapidated and muddy and kind of broken down. Like,
This looks like just where you were just fighting in a lot of ways. You know?
Yeah.
Did you go to any like very different places?
I haven't, but I've seen like on their trailers and stuff, I've seen some like a jungle or like kind of a deserty looking place. And so I think there is that variety. I think this just happens to be, the early game thing of like, here's your hub world. We're going to go like next door to where the things are bad. And then eventually you will go set off on your own on a much broader global mission. So they had vendors, pretty standard stuff. They also had like rotating special deals of the day stuff. It seems very much like it's a game they want you to kind of come back and check on every day and see the deals and all that.
You got to do your dailies.
I love a good deal.
Yep. And so this next mission here was kind of the most impressed I was with my time with the game, just because the scale of it was really neat. It didn't feel like a tiny little combat arena like maybe some of the other ones felt like, where we would just pin up in a corner. It's just kind of a full-fledged like World War I style trench warfare. Extravaganza. I don't think World War I was an extravaganza, for the record.
That's how, the great extravaganza, I think is how we refer to.
Not since Death Stranding have video game trench warfare sequences been so impressive.
This guy is an asshole. You can tell he's an asshole because he's got a little top knot.
Oh, yeah.
Little side thing that I always appreciate. You have your gear on in the cosmetics. No helmet, but like the rest of your armor looks like the armor you're wearing, and even your squad will sometimes be in the background wearing what they're wearing.
Cool.
All right, so I enter here, and I'm like, okay, I've got this really nice shotgun. I'm ready to just like get up in people's business. I did not notice the enemies with the skulls over their head, which will come back into play. You'll see on the minimap there's some additional green dots. There's just kind of like some NPCs in play. I thought that was neat. I thought it helped add to the whole kind of like war feeling that they're going for here. Because otherwise it'd be like, okay, why are just me and two other guys trying to take on an entire army?
Like this whole camp full of people going, yeah, we're going to go do the assault, yeah! You guys go.
And so you'll see he has a little armor symbol next to his level there. That means he's armored. You can shoot off the armor. I've already shot it off of that guy specifically, but if you focus in on like the helmet or the chest plate, you can kind of blow the armor off and then do more damage to their body. This is me trying to remember how to take out my pistol.
Double tap. I'm gonna guess. Double tap the weapon change button or hold it down. Well, I guess you're playing with the keyboard.
I think it was hold it down.
Yeah. So is this? I guess this is the PC version, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's
coming
listed
to-
for for PS4 and PS5,
Right. I was
Xbox
gonna
One,
say, this
and
is
Series
coming
X.
to,
So.
to next the new consoles.
But I wonder if that means like one SKU for each, then it just runs on both, or like some of the messaging of this stuff is not super
Question
clear.
of the generation right now, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Because this isn't out. When is this out then?
This comes out. I just had that open. This still says Q4.
Okay.
I don't know if they have a specific date. Maybe it's, I don't know, around the time that consoles launch. This says December 2020, but I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah, and you know, right now I don't know if they've said, hey, the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions are also in that time frame, or if that's later, or
You can kind of do a little running melee attack. That was
Yeah.
what that was. Do like a
Titan
little
action
AoE
right there.
slam. Yeah. I kind of, I mean, I get that they wanted to show off the new class. I thought it would have been neat maybe if I was playing with some of the other classes just so I could kind of get a sense for what their abilities are.
and if they
but
synergize.
yeah. Because, like, I could definitely see, like, okay, well, I have this AoE ice thing. Maybe somebody else has this, like, bomb that they can plant and I can get in there and freeze them. Again, I'm overextending it. It took a long time to kind of realize, like, okay, this is something we have to actually slowly push into. We can't just, like, blitz them and flank them and stuff. The enemies were quite intelligent. They responded to flanking quite well. They would like move together and kind of like hole up a little bit if they needed to.
This may not be definitive, but I just pulled up the pre-order page on their official site, and it only shows box art for PS4 and Xbox One.
Well, they haven't revealed a ton
But
of
yeah,
box
that's,
art for.
yeah, it's possible they just haven't rolled out SKUs for, and they're all, obviously they're only taking pre-orders for those versions right now as well.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, like they didn't show us too much. We got to play like 4 missions basically, and the first 2 were us kind of running around being like, how do I get ammo back? What do I do? So it wasn't really until that last mission that we kind of got a good sense for things, and then this was the last part we played, and yeah, like you can see, like this is a pretty long battlefield. The video unfortunately cuts off before the completion of the level, but it took us, I would say, a good 20 minutes to beat this specific part, because they would eventually, like, you see, we're fighting that Vanguard captain there. That dude was beefy. We had to really synergize. You see, like, the little symbols under him. He's on
yeah,
fire.
you've got
He's
it lit
frozen.
up,
He's poisoned. Even with all of that going, he's still pretty tanky. Oh, and he would, like, summon these black holes, and if you walked into them, it would just randomly teleport you to a different part of the battlefield. Which sometimes you'd be like, oh, cool, I'm out of it. And sometimes you'd be like, oh, shit, I'm in it.
Is there any kind of like bigger tactical view of the battlefield, like a bigger map, or is that little radar?
No, I
little
think
thing
that
you get?
mini map there is kind of your only thing. And then there's like, you can't like continuously freeze an enemy. They kind of build resistance to it the more you do it to them. Yeah, I mean that's what I saw so far of Outriders. I appreciate how frenetic it was. Like I liked Division 2 all right, but I feel like there were times where I was just sitting behind cover in one spot and plinking dudes for like 10 minutes and not really moving around. It seems like
like run out, get armor, and then just hole up again and do it some more. Or get ammo rather.
it seems like they wanted to make something along the lines of that, but kind of just make it a little more, a little more movement focused, a little more, giving you like that running melee attack. I feel like is like them very clearly telegraphing that you're going to want to like move around a bit. You're going to want to like run into a new area, maybe freeze the guy that's there, and then go past him, take some cover, and recycle.
Yeah, and like something that's a little more fantastical with some larger than life powers. Like the Division 2 had a lot of good ideas, but just being grounded in the real world, it was kind of, there was only so much they could do.
Yeah, and like the two missions we just showed, I was fighting kind of humanoid guys, but the mission before that, we were fighting these sort of beasts, these like alien kind of claw beasts. I saw some other stuff from trailers where they were fighting like birds and stuff. It seems like it's not only just like military type soldier guys that you're fighting against. It seems like there's a lot of different environments down the line, and I'm excited. I honestly, it was one of those games that went from not even on my radar to something I'm looking out for just because I got my hands on it. I think it's one of those games that once you get your hands on it and kind of feel it's, you know, it's tight, the shooting's good, like the movement's crisp, snapping to cover feels really nice. It's one of those things that it's more than the sum of its parts, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, looks cool. It looks looks cool.
Yeah, so that's Outriders. It's out this year, allegedly, on new consoles, allegedly, and current consoles. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Jeff. And I'll see you on the ride out.
We'll tech romance later.